everybody. I'm filming more of personal album reviews and experiences and things. Reminisce about the music, I should say. This is my Reminisce about the music video series, and the next one that I'm giving my thoughts on is the Sixpence, None the Richer 1997 self-titled record. This one had Kiss Me on it. This is the one that had Kiss Me on it, so it was real popular. That song was real popular. And there's some other really good songs on here too. I think that people who hopefully bought the record liked as well. The first track was called "We Have Forgotten." I fell in love with that track personally. I liked the words, and he says dreams, inconsistent angel things, horses bred with star-laced wings. Why so hard to make them fly? Is one line. Certainly, there's one thing. Having a dream in our mind is one thing, and birthing it into reality is an act of work and things like that. So the song does sort of just reminisce on that idea, and maybe the frustration of when it doesn't work out. So anyway, and it had a riff the riff reminded me of "World We Know" by Collective Soul. I think learning that Collective Soul song actually helped me unlock "We Have Forgotten" more, even with the book. The book gives you chords and piano notes and lyrics, which is good and gets you somewhere, and especially if you're a piano player, it helps you get started. If you're a guitar player, they didn't do a guitar book for this album, so you were kind of guess and figure it out type thing, which I learned once I learned what a D with an F sharp in the bass was, moving up to a G, then moving up to an A, and then sliding back down at the very beginning of the song, and just downstroking that at the beginning. Was cool. And I'm going to make a mention of the early Sixpence stuff here, since I'm just going to go ahead and do that too while I'm talking about this album. We Have Forgotten. The next song was it The Waiting Room? Or was it Anything? I think it was Anything. Okay, I can tell by the page number. Anything. This is my 45th depressing tune. Haha. It was another one where you could kind of just ding, ding, ding. So a guy who was like me, who was just stuck on strumming and chording, could go ahead and fall in love with and start learning how to play and stuff. And this is a song I could latch onto and start playing. The first three songs kind of play into one another as sort of a mini medley-ish thing, kind of. I guess just one thing about this record is how slow these songs are compared to the earlier Sixpence stuff that I wasn't aware of. I got this album first, and then I went back and bought like an early years collection. Not really the records of like The Fatherless and the Widow and Tickets for a Prayer Wheel and those. I didn't get into those till later. And those have electric guitars, a lot more electric guitars. Generally, the tempos are faster. You really get to hear Matt's electric guitar chops. And then I went back and heard the Smiths and understood where Matt Slocum got his ideas from bands like the Smiths, the Sundays, the Cranberries, where Sixpence None the Richer got their musical influences from, and then Lee Nash's contribution of country music knowledge with her love for Patsy Cline and George Jones and others that she liked that documentary that's out there now talks about. So anyway, Anything was nice, and then it goes into The Waiting Room, which has a little bit more of a almost like a ragtime style of music going on in it. You could imagine an old black and white flickering old film from like the 1920s or 30s playing while this song is playing, and maybe the music video would look like that. Like if you look at the Kiss Me video, it's made to look almost like an old French film, I guess, is what it's supposed to be like. And ideas like what the Smashing Pumpkins did with Tonight Tonight is an old French film. Yeah. So, yeah, those songs, you know, there's a almost blues even in it. And blues is cool. I haven't given the blues a real chance yet, and shame on me, but yeah. So is Kiss Me the song number 4, I assume? I guess it is. Yeah, Kiss Me, the chords, like, they didn't give you chord boxes, which, you know, I was, at the time, was still very dependent on chord boxes, and not understanding how things change when you put a capo on a guitar, and how you put a capo on the 3rd fret, you do a C, then you do a C major 7, and then a C7, and how that becomes an E flat major 7, an E flat major 7, and then an E flat 7, and that's the key of the song. It's in E flat, I think. But I knew what a C chord was, and I could hear it. I wasn't theoretically savvy as much, but I could hear it, so I could figure it out that way. And I think Kiss Me I did kind of figure out, and now there's like 20 different tutorial videos on how to play it, and I threw in my 21st video. I threw the 21st video on the pile on YouTube, and didn't need to. Should probably delete my video and put somebody else's who's a lot better than mine. But that's cool. Easy to Ignore. Easy to Ignore was nice. It was in the key of G. I was still stuck, and in some ways still stuck in, you know, songs that are in the key of G, because I guess guitars, or at least the way I played guitar, was friendly to songs that were in the key of G. So many songs from Jars of Clay's first record were in the key of G, so that was a key I'd played with a lot, and when I heard that song, I was like, oh, I can figure that one out pretty quick. Even with or without a book, I think might have been the case there, but the book helped me, you know, smooth out the bumps or any nuances I wasn't able to currently catch. I Can't Catch You. I did learn how to play that, and I still could do a rough version of it right now, if I, you know, wanted to, or have a guitar in my hand at the moment. And I liked it, and learned how to play it for a while, and I don't really pull it out anymore. Lately, I haven't pulled it out to play again, but if the need came, I have the book, and I have my skill ready to go, and could relearn the song, I think, fairly quickly if I needed to, for a cover experience of some kind. The Lines of My Earth, I think I liked that because it kind of switches back between, I think, 2 bar chords. So that was a good bar chords practice song, and it's fairly easy. I can't remember, it might be 5 or 6 chords altogether, and it's not too hard, and has an easy pace to learn, and it's a good song. 7, Sister Mother. Some songs you can do an acoustic campfire version of, and that's cool, but when they're made to have like 2 electric guitars that have different parts that come together, that sound really awesome together, with lots of effects, and bass guitar, and keyboard, and drums, and whatever else is in the song, and your campfire version is cute and nice, but it's not the full glory of the song, and, you know, that's fine. And some songs have a nice little accompanying rhythm acoustic guitar, and I had that wherein with a niche for me as an acoustic guitar, rhythm guitarist. This is my main thing I do. Can find our little niche and be happy and play what's on the record and feel cool because we're playing what's on the record, and play around all the other parts, and that's cool. I think Sister Mother's it's real slow. It's electric guitar. I didn't mess with it a lot, I don't think. I didn't give it a whole lot of attention. 62, 67, I Won't Stay Long. I may have given that one some time because it was in the key of G, and then the choruses might go into something else that was an E or something. You can tell my memories aren't strong. Love. Love's a good song. You know, I listened to the record. I didn't always try to play all these songs on you know, like I said, I've named reasons why I actually would try to go back and play the songs myself. If I felt like there was something about them that I already had a fairly solid foundation on, that I made the song accessible, personally accessible for me to play, so then I would play it. Oh, sorry, I'm adjusting my camera. Moving on. That was a good song. I think I will not let them ruin me or something. What's the line that was repeated and kind of, cheer yourself on. There She Goes. I didn't know another band that must have influenced Matt Slocum called The Laws, who had written that song originally in the key of G, and then they bumped it up to, I don't know, what was it, I forget, whatever key it needed to be in for Lee Nash's voice to make it easier to sing. And then, excuse me, and then the Sixpence kind of being known for throwing in a cover song on every album even, and then their cover of Don't Dream It's Over, which was fine. They did a good job. They did a nice job with it. And the Crowded House version is still out there and stands on its own and those kind of things too. But that was cool because it helped me look back and see, who's this by? And it's by a band called The Laws. And then I looked into The Laws a little bit, and they have some cool tracks and getting into the Sundays. And I had my own thing with the Cranberries for a while and listened to Linger and things like that. So there were songs that I got into. And Sixpence was part of that thing, and then the Smiths and Johnny Marr, and finding out about Johnny Marr's signature Fender, crap, I'm trying to think of the name of it, Jaguar. It's a Jaguar. In British, they'll say it's a Jaguar, they won't say it's a Jaguar or anything, or Jaguar or whatever. A surf guitar, and then I got into some that made me look further back into surf music from the 50s and things, which I already kind of had an attachment with since, or country and rock is in my blood. It is. It's there. Dad plays all the Grand Ole Opry stuff, and all that stuff is there. Patsy Cline, Elvis. Not the dad. Dad actually doesn't play any Elvis songs, but or say Roy Orbison. I listened to a lot of Roy Orbison. I bought a Roy Orbison collection and listened to him because I liked that. Pretty Woman and things, and that led to that. So all it's nice how you get into one band and they lead you further back into the past and where they came from. If you take the time to look into where they get their sound from, which I usually do. I'm usually like, what's this brilliant band? Where do they come from? Who do they listen to? How do I become like them? And take a bit of themselves into myself and make it part of what I do. I have my own little quote-unquote 50s doo-wop song that I came up with, and I have some really cool chords that I'm really proud of that sound very nice, and I would like to eventually, maybe a full-fledged song could someday be born, an original full-fledged song could someday be born from. But yeah, I don't know. What else can I talk about with this record? Anything? Trying to see all these songs. I think I've pretty much gone through all of them. Yeah, I pretty much have. So yeah, I mean, this was a good record, and my friend Danny Emmons first introduced me to it. I remember we were in his car, and he's playing it for me, and I'm listening to We Have Forgotten for the first time and thinking, this is really neat. And wow, this is really cool. I mean, he and I usually parallel musical tastes. Excuse me. In a lot of ways, like he liked Tea and Sympathy from Jars of Clay's Much Afraid, and we both tried to learn it, and he came over to the house a couple of times, and we tried to jam together a few times, and it didn't really go anywhere, and that's fine, but, we had those experiences, and the band we played in, The Calling, and he went on to do some really cool bands called Sides of the North, and Um, I don't know what he's doing now. I think he is still playing guitar some, I think. I hope. I think he plays at church and stuff, so that's good. Still keeping his musical chops up and doing things. Excuse me, I'm full of yawns. But yeah, this has been Sixpence None the Richer's 1997 release. It had Kiss Me on it. So if you like that song, I just would say that was not the only good song on this record. There were a lot of good songs, and Sixpence has a good discography. I would personally recommend, if you're a guitar player, you're not going to be bored. Unless you're a really good guitar player and you probably latch onto these songs. I would listen to, in terms of early Sixpence, I would listen to songs like Circle of Air. The song's written in a round, and it's really cool how it comes together. What else? Trust, of course. Trust was an early Sixpence song, and I think if you liked anything of their religious stuff, Trust was a beautiful song. There's there's about 3 different versions out there. There's the sort of the alternative, acoustic, rockish song that has sort of that chorusy electric guitar like the Smiths might use, or other bands after the Smiths in there, as along with an acoustic guitar, and Johnny Marr used acoustic guitars and electric guitars. A lot of chorus in a lot of ways, and that 80s chorus guitar became a signature sound in a lot of 80s songs later. What else? Of early Sixpence can I recommend, along with talking about this record, I would say I would just say there's these the early years. There's these things called the early years, or check out The Fatherless and the Widow. Check out A Beautiful Mess. Check out Tickets for a Prayer Wheel if you want to hear Sixpence using a lot more electric guitars, and hearing their Smiths and everybody else's influences there. Check out the latter stuff for them when you hear more of their country, I think. Excuse me. More of their country influences, I think, came through. I think at one point Lee Nash is singing and sounding a lot like, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of her name. I can't think of her name. What's the name of that song? Help me open my heart to you, Jesus, it's what I long to do. My heart is as dark as the soil, freshly dug from the bog. Brighten My Heart, I think it's called Brighten My Heart, which is a very, very country song. And there's a country version of Trust out there on YouTube you can listen to. They're folk and country. I have room for that in my own heart. Certainly, I grew up around it for years. Like I said, my dad, the way he plays and continues to play guitar, and good stuff like that. So, anyway, I've got a whole other Sixpence album to talk about, so I'll shut up about that.